This is a Clouds weather alert.
Back with you here in the Weather Center on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud, tracking some strong and severe storms across North Florida, South Georgia. Two areas that are really standing out right now. Yellow box toward the Swanee River Valley, going for another 5 minutes here for areas of Swanee County. We'll see if they extend that into Columbia County or not. We got a pretty significant bow on this here as it was trying to set up, move toward Lake City. Not quite as well organized as it was, but still more population density involved as we're looking ahead. It wasn't really impacting areas toward the interstate. Most of this polygon, you see a little bit of it right now. It does clip I-10, but if this were to get extended, a lot more of the interstate areas would be included, and they just extended the warning now. Okay, they've just extended this warning now until 12:45. And now, even though velocity wasn't showing a lot, the bow is pretty well defined here. It's still there enough for sure, even if it isn't quite as clear. So they're going to go ahead and extend this now to 12:45. There's a Columbia, Hamilton, and Union counties now. So this does include a lot of the interstate areas here. So one warning that goes for in a few moments goes for southeastern Swanee County, Wellborn, McAlpin, and O'Brien, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. But the new warning now still moving northeast at 30. But we're tracking this area here in toward parts of Columbia County, especially here. So let's go ahead and just kind of look. I'm trying to get the apex of the bow to track from that. So it looks as if, let's just go ahead and track it from areas. I know this will get it right more into Lake City. So let's track it like that. And we'll also put a track on it up here. That goes more toward the I-10, I-75 intersection there. But the new warning goes for areas here of Lake City, White Springs, Columbia, Five Points, Watertown, Winfield, and the Swanee Valley. So again, just continuing to watch things here, just having to monitor things for sure. This is going to impact a lot of folks right at their lunch hour here. They're getting off work, and unfortunately, it's not good weather to be going outside right now or getting on the roads here in Lake City, as this is going to produce potentially pretty strong winds in toward that area over the next little bit. I know at 12:10, the severe thunderstorm is located near Wellborn or 7 miles south of White Springs, moving northeast at about 30. So near Wellborn is where they think some of the worst of this is. So yeah, that's about where we have the track from. So you can see that moving up there toward where I-10 and I-75 intersect. Try to get a camera there in just a moment. As these storms, again, we were talking about it earlier. We were hoping maybe the parameters would kind of fall down a little, but unfortunately, I know the sun's come out while we're out here east of Stark, and we're getting some more destabilization now. So we also, the other concern area before I go to traffic cameras, another reason we wanted to come on is because of a flash flood warning. This is what really prompted us to go ahead and just trigger more coverage here. Flash flood warning for Albany here, because we're getting quite a bit of rain in that area, unfortunately. And that flash flood warning going for Dougherty County until 3 o'clock. Dougherty County there until 3 o'clock. So again, I will try to zoom in on that here in just a moment as we try to give you guys the very latest on what's going on. We're getting quite a bit of heavy rain to pick on up in the Weather Service in Tallahassee, getting concerned about it. Tallahassee's in charge of the Albany warning, but the Swanee and then the Columbia, Hamilton, and Union area there, that's all covered by the Jacksonville office. So again, this is Tallahassee's warning here, and they're saying they're really keeping an eye on things regarding the Albany area. The Albany airport reported 0.23 inches amount of rain there, 4 inches from 11:53 to 11:57, but that's 3.5 inches an hour of rainfall. That's where you have that 20-mile-an-hour wind report from there over the last little bit. Also, there's another headline that's not affecting our area right now necessarily, and it looks like it may be more of a southerly type of thing outside of a viewing area, but there's a bow really developing in the Gulf of Mexico. We have the bow up here that we're watching moving toward Lake City, but even maybe a more well-defined one that could be an issue toward areas of Citrus County, Hernando County, and even getting further on down there. I mean, you have some of these different counties as we get down the coast, like Pasco. So we'll have to monitor for that from that more national/Florida perspective. But so let's go back though. We're starting to get some of the worst of the wind potentially closer toward that interstate area. We're actually seeing it better on the other radar here, the Tallahassee radar. That worst of the wind tries to come right near where the intersection of the interstates is. So let me see if I can kind of catch up here on some of our camera shots right now. Bear with me here. Just a one-man band, but it's all about protecting you. It's all about protecting your friends and it's all about protecting your family here on this Wednesday as this rainy stretch, this stormy stretch continues across the area. So let's go ahead and zoom on in on our traffic system. I know, just trying to get you guys the latest here. Bear with me as I try to pull up that intersection of I-10 and I-75. So let me go ahead and kind of get that situated right now. Yeah, they're already getting it there. Surging ahead pretty quick, it looks like. Already getting some storming, it's there. So let's go ahead and jump on into toward traffic. Full in traffic is going to say, guys, it's so in some of these nastier conditions right now. You can see a little bit of tree movement. I've not seen a lot of cameras taken here, just a little bit. Not too much so at this moment in time, but it's not like I have a producer in the back or something that can just dial this up whenever things deteriorate. So you kind of have to watch it with you guys on the fly here pretty much. This is mile marker 434 there, mile marker 434. So some nasty weather near the interchange. You can see all that water draining off here. You see this all kind of pointed out. You can't see my cursor very good, but you can see it kind of draining off the road above here. So on to I-10. So that's kind of interesting. That's probably, actually, I mean, actually, when we're talking about I-10 and I-75 both, so we're turning off of one interstate onto the other interstate, at least, is what we're looking at here right now. So, again, just kind of continue to watch things here in the grand scheme. So, again, kind of tracking things right now here as we're looking toward parts of Columbia County, Hamilton County, and Union County until about 12:45. So some nasty weather conditions ongoing there. Let's jump away from that camera shot for now. At least the wind wasn't too strong, but it doesn't mean we couldn't get a tree to fall in an area here or there. So just got to keep that in mind. I know, just trying to let you guys know exactly what's going on there, though. Just trying to give you guys that heads up here in this type of setup. So, again, a nasty situation here for sure. In toward part of the viewing area. So, just got to be kind of paying attention here. We're just going to keep on tracking all our different camera views. Let me go ahead and zoom back out on our velocity for a moment. I know that's where we have some of the worst wind at, right where the intersection of the interstates is, but there still could be some wind back here that could be an issue for Lake City proper. So don't let your guard down around Lake City here over the next little bit. Within the next 5 to 10 minutes, it's maybe getting a little bit worse. With the first round kind of coming through now. Maybe some more action coming through later. The worst is up here for this part. I mean, it's kind of the warning's only kind of draw more down here, but you kind of see here this area is coming back in, maybe more with maybe a little bit of velocity increasing there for town. So. Again, I know we're showing you this camera and all those different roads. There's different things to get on the interstate out there as well. So, been a little while since I've been out that way, for about a year or so. So, I just trying to refamiliarize myself with the geography out there in terms of the intersection of those interstates. I mean, don't normally go on 75, but again, I just continue to watch things there. I'll go ahead and zoom back out a little bit. You see toward Dixie County, looking there. Into toward the Cross City area, you can see what's going on with some gusty winds, maybe winds in excess of 40 possible. We'll just continue to watch things there. Again, Albany, we're gonna have to really watch because Albany has flood issues a lot of times here, unfortunately. And just in that hour there, from about 11:14 to 12:14, these spots here in the purple picked up over 2 inches. That red area over 3 inches. And now we have even more rainfall, and so it's not impossible that Albany could end up seeing closer to maybe 5 inches of rain here, parts of town, parts of Dougherty County at least, and that's going to be really problematic here. We might get this upgrade to a considerable threat like we did last Wednesday. We don't have the tornado threat or a higher wind threat or a hail threat like we did last Wednesday, but a flood threat here is pretty similar in some regard for some of our areas. So we got to keep that in mind here. You got to keep that in mind here for sure. Again, just trying to make sure we give you guys the very latest here to protect you, protect your friends, and protect your family. So again, we're just going to keep on watching things here. You see the temperature 74, they've cooled off some, but is coming at a cost here because that rain could cause flooding of roadways. I mean, we had water rescues last Wednesday here, so it could happen again here this Wednesday toward Albany, toward Doherty County now. Things are starting to deteriorate even further on those roads, I'm sure, right at the lunch hour. So that's unfortunate. Two big areas, two of our bigger cities in our 62 counties have problems of storminess that could lead to car accidents or water rescues to the north right at that lunch hour. So again, I just got to be really careful here in this type of setup. Just gonna have to really be mindful of what you're doing out there. Is we're just continuing to watch these. I'm gonna go to Jacksonville Radar to look at the Columbia County accident. Now I see a different vantage point on our velocity mode. As again, things have kind of gotten a little bit more volatile out here. So let's go ahead and look here at our wind mode. Yeah, that's showing the wind even further back now on the Jacksonville radar. So that's why you don't want, I mean, that's actually, it's updating. So it's way up, it's way behind. I apologize. It's going to update this further back. It's the other areas that's pinpointed. It's just taking its time there. It's kind of further in here probably by now across State Road 247. But that's headed right into Lake City proper. Nonetheless, here over the next little bit, within the next 15 minutes, some of the worst weather you're going to get from this will be moving into Lake City. So that'll be crossing 75 there. So we'll want to look at our cameras there in that area as well. Again, these are some winds that could be exceeding 60 miles an hour. You're seeing a gust about 62 possible in that area. So again, we'll just have to keep watching that. Let me go ahead and go back on over another down to 68 degrees in Live Oak, which is definitely a little bit cooler. They had some storminess come through there. I know we've even had, I see information about water spouts. I was down toward Lee County, Florida. Lee County, Florida was under a tornado warning here just over the last little bit, but we covered Lee County, Georgia. And for perspective, I know just south of there is where Doherty County is, and that's where they had a flash flood warning here in play right now. So just trying to give you guys the very latest here on the situation. Here's our map with flash flood warnings for Doherty, not Lee at this point, but we're watching things up toward Lee County. So again, we want to keep our eyes on the situation very carefully here. You can kind of see we even have some stronger storm acts in there. I know looking south of Fitzgerald, Irwin County, there's a significant advisory there, but let's jump back and forth. We have two big stories right now, really, two different areas we're really paying attention to because they could have big impacts on your lunch hour here. Again, around Lake City, you can see these stronger winds coming on in here. And they may be, I mean, that velocity, yeah, that's running behind. So there you go. There you go. There's your latest update. That's headed right for the interstate here. Headed right for where 247 crosses with I-75 there. Again, just going to keep watching. We're seeing pixels at 64 miles an hour now. So these could be some really strong wind. I know that Bo, you would think it had a stronger wind, but now that seems to have weakened some, and this is now headed for Lake City. So again, some nasty, nasty weather headed for Lake City there in Columbia County in the Swanee River Valley. So again, this warning going until 12:45. If this continues to hold together, the worst of this will head up into Baker County later, maybe Charlton, Nassau County, moving pretty quick, you see, at this point in time at least, with that track on here. That may need to be readjusted. Let me see here. Okay, that's looking okay for now, but we'll watch it even moving to southeast Georgia, depending on how it interacts with some of the other activity. So again, let's just go ahead and keep watching things here. Keep tracking them. Again, these are some strong winds headed right for where those two roads cross there. I-75 and State Road 247. So see if we can find a camera in that area here and see if we can catch that live on the air for you guys. So 247 and I-75. That's what we're looking right now. That's what we're looking right now. Bear with me. Try to give you guys the latest here to protect you, protect your friends, and protect your family. We have a couple of different cameras in that area, so let's see which one is looking southwest. That'd be the one to go to probably then. Let's go ahead and jump over here. It should start to deteriorate a little bit further here in the next moment, or maybe in the next couple of moments at least. So you can see the wind is picking up as I go ahead and switch that in right now for you guys at home. I know, by the way, in terms of flooding for Georgia, we don't have any cameras we can jump to there, but I will keep our eyes on the situation. Again, there's a view right there, though, toward the intersection I'm talking about, where some of the worst of the weather could be headed over in the next few moments. So I've put in some of the latest information on stuff. I want to see what the power outages were like in Suwannee County here with this cell over the last little bit. We might have got this to go up a little bit down toward the surface. So we have 190 customers in the dark in Suwannee and actually 144 in Hamilton County. Leon County's outage numbers down to 87. They had the storms earlier that we were on for. We had a weakening, but then we had some destabilization here that fueled some problems to the east. Marginal risk still continues. They're not going to a slight risk or anything like that, but still some volatile weather here on this Wednesday here, this June 21st, 2023. We have to almost keep track of the day here ourselves when we talk to you guys because the days are just going by here with storms, so around the storm after round of storm. I mean, it's just been a countless number. I mean, we've had just so many warnings. I mean, it's got to be almost a record. It's not. I mean, severe thunderstorm warning wise for our area over the last week and a half. I mean, 10 days now. This is 10-day 10 anyway. Tracking this thread as the conditions should deteriorate on this camera here over the next few moments. I'm going to check the radar on other source so I can keep tabs when I have to kind of devote our one system to the camera when I have it up. But I put up a velocity on our other system so I can kind of watch the intersection of this here to see exactly when the worst is about to cross on over. As you see the ones going, some are not overwhelming here, but definitely some nastier conditions. I know the Moody radar doesn't show it as well. In theory, that would be better, but I think the angle might be better on Jacksonville's here because I could see why that would make more sense. Looking at 1222 was the last scan we got, and it was still headed toward that intersection pretty much in toward that area. I'll see if there's maybe a camera just to the north, maybe that we need to jump to, but I mean, look here. I mean, it looks like it's still kind of on pace for that intersection here around Lake City. So it may still take a couple minutes. We're just a one-man band now, so it's kind of. I wish if we just had a producer, they could tell me when it started to get worse. But right now, I'm just going to keep it up a little longer here and see how things deteriorate. We don't have cameras further out, but we have cameras along the interstate, the Florida 51 cameras that we can show. This is I-75 there, mile marker 425.8. So. Again, that's kind of the storyline here as we watch these conditions start to get worse. You see quite a few people on the roads here. It's that summer travel season now. Today's the first day of summer on that calendar. And then, I mean, it's also at lunchtime, which can obviously, that can be problematic for folks here if they're caught without shelter. I mean, there's always a small chance here that a tree comes down across the interstate. If that happens, obviously, hopefully that happens in between vehicles, and then they're able to stop the ones that see it in time before they run into that down. But again, just continuing to watch things here along the Interstate 75 area. I'm watching the latest scans coming on other computer. So even though you're not seeing it right now in the air, I'm watching it here. I'm watching those latest scans come in out of that Jacksonville site to make sure we're still kind of on pace with the geography here. So severe thunderstorm warning for Lake City for another about 15 to 20 more minutes. It's still headed that way. 1226 to scan. We're now sitting here at about 1228 on this Wednesday afternoon. Our meteorologist Casey Cloud, and we're seeing a situation that is worse. The wind may go just a little further. I mean, it'll clip this camera. I almost feel like if we have a camera just north, it may be interesting, but there you go. It's starting to deteriorate some of that. Look away for a second. It looks like we got a little bit more of a deterioration here. So let's keep it here for now and watch because as long as it stays up here, let's just kind of watch it because I think we'll still get enough of this here where it'll be pretty intriguing. If there's a camera in north, then if this one goes down, we'll jump to that. We'll just kind of play it by ear here. We're having to produce as we talk. So just bear with me here as we watch this situation to try to protect you, your friends, and your family here. You see, I mean, the cameras are more of that water on the lens. You see the lights obviously on the vehicles here for the most part, which is what you want to see, the lights on the vehicles here in this type of situation. So it looks like most people, not everybody, but most people have their lights on here at this point. So again, just continue to watch things here on this live shot as these conditions deteriorate here in toward this area, trying to give you this Florida 501 perspective here. Next scan on the radar should have it right over this area. If not, maybe just, I'm looking at a straight level on other source. I mean, over, it looks like near US 90 there as well. It's going to be kind of in that area too. So this is headed right in toward some of these more populated areas, the Lake City, right where people might be eating lunch here at the rush hour for that lunch period anyway. So again, just kind of continue to watch things as we're watching the camera shot here. The winds haven't picked up overwhelmingly, but they're still, you can tell they picked up some there at points. So again, just going to continue to watch things here on our shot, on our camera view, as we try to provide you all this service here to the viewer to give you guys the very latest on what's going on. The thunderstorm warning for Columbia, mainly Columbia, but a little bit of Hamilton and Union County is also included in this until about 12:45. So for a little less than about 15 more minutes, we still have this threat ongoing here across our area. So just gonna have to keep on monitoring things here to see if this wind gets down to the surface here in toward this area. Seeing if that wind kind of pushes on down here. Some of those higher velocity values that we're seeing on the radar, we're trying to give you a wind of the world. It looks like that wind's picking up now. We're starting to see that wind pick up. You see the trees moving just a little bit more here. Nothing overwhelming, but you can see some of the water there, rain blowing across the road a bit. As we're losing a little more visibility now on this camera, as things get a little more treacherous out there here at this lunch hour. So again, continuing to monitor this, see if we get some of the stronger gusts to come into view here in toward this area. Again, Columbia County is where we're at right now in the north central Florida region. Severe thunderstorm warning until 12:45. So again, some nasty conditions here. Some nastier weather. You can see the slick roads out there. That's another hazard in addition to the lightning, in addition to the wind. I know just looking at this here, it's still kind of moving on in. That latest scan has it there. I know we have penny size scale possible too, but latest scan here, I'm looking at things in the weather center, just kind of watching the movement here. You see the camera still, the treacherous conditions out there. We're sticking with it a little longer than we normally would, since we're right there at this pretty much. It almost looks like the worst of the wind maybe just gonna cross here very close, if not maybe just on the north side of this intersection. But I mean, it's right there. It's right there headed in this area. Worsening wind energy based on the radar. We're trying to get ground truth of that by watching this camera for a more extended period of time than we normally would. So again, this wind moving into Lake City right now. You see how it's pretty nasty out there on the roadway. On the roadway, you see the tree in the front here, kind of moving around a little bit more, but it's still nothing overwhelming, which is some good news. But it's still the worst of the wind, and it's just getting there now. As we're looking at our radar, it takes time when you're at a specific location like this to get the wind on this camera shot. So again, there's a severe thunderstorm warning in play. This is what we're talking about right now. Severe thunderstorm warning. That's why I know if we had like a tornado warning, I probably want to jump back between this and the radar a bunch. There's some lightning as the conditions are pretty nasty out there. Unfortunately, I don't have any sound where we can like listen into the thunder rumble, but probably pretty close there in that area. Again, you probably hear that pretty quick after that lightning blast. Based on our different tools that we have, you see the wind's really picking up now. The wind's really picking up. You can see that visibility getting a little bit worse on this shot. So again, getting pretty nasty. Not maybe severe winds, but some stronger winds. What we're seeing on this shot right now with these nasty conditions. So again, there's a chance the worst of the wind could be just on the north side of this. This area is more right into Lake City. But you don't want to be out in this, whether the winds are at 60 or 50 or 40. They could still cause problems. They could still knock a tree down, knock a power line down, or the like here. So again, that's kind of the storyline right now. And the warnings are always for 60, but there's a chance even if these are discussed to 40 or so, then we're talking about a situation where you could still have some problems on your hands. So again, definitely as you're looking at the trees further away, they're not moving just an extreme amount, but they're moving enough here. And in the rain, you can kind of tell how it's blowing around and picking up here, losing that visibility here, obviously, at this hour. So again, that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. That's what we're dealing with right now. And toward this area, you can kind of see still that wind blowing around. Still seeing some of that wind blow around to some degree here. Some folks have their flashers on here at this intersection. This is mile marker 425 there. As we're looking at the intersection of I-75, and it looks like State Road 247. So again, Just watching these conditions here as they rapidly evolve hornets here at this lunch hour. See some folks slowing down a little bit now, it looks like. Which, I mean, you want to slow down to some degree, but hopefully it doesn't mean there's some type of accident ahead. But again, just going to have to continue to watch our different traffic cameras here, our live shots that we have across the region here. So the velocity, so we had an update on my other computer. Looked like it started, the horse is starting to move past now based on this view, and I assume velocity. I'll say that in a moment. When I say that, though, you still see lightning, and you don't have to have the worst of the wind and the heaviest rain to move through to have that lightning threat. That's why it's always important to still be inside whenever thunder roars. So, again, that's kind of the storyline there right now. I know some folks out here can't help it. I'm not trying to say that it's just the worst thing that they're out on the road here, but you got to be really careful, obviously, in this type of setup. So, torrential rain, lightning, winds here, kind of get the idea. We'll keep track on these cameras. Let's get back over to velocity for now, I think, then. We'll keep tracking the cameras here as necessary. Staying on this one a longer period of time than we normally would, but I just want to give you a different vantage point on this. Since we just had so many warnings have been on radar so much lately. Yeah, the worst of it's right over that intersection now, it says. But that's from 2 minutes ago. I think we just saw the worst of it because the winds have died down now a little bit. So, still pretty nasty, but I think we just saw the worst of it on that live view pretty much there as it was coming on through. I'm looking it up behind the scenes just real quick before I jump it off. And yeah, so you can see here, coming right into town. We just saw in that camera, maybe went to 60, coming right into Lake City right now here with the severe thunderstorm warning. So again, you kind of got a sample of what it could look like in Lake City here next couple moments. I know that track needs to be updated now, but you can see here what's going on. It's just headed right for town here, and that's the way the moment ago. But at this point, you already know it. Just kind of got a little past. I mean, within a moment. I mean, you can see that's 15 minutes up there. So within maybe the next minute or two, here, I mean, probably more like right this moment as I'm talking to you guys. These winds are probably coming into Lake City. So gotta keep that in mind. Talking about the town where you have all the different stopping and the like. So again, let's look at our topography here. Some of the areas greatest impacted here. I mean, it's not impossible here that we could have like a tree fall in a parking lot or something even. Or some of the shopping carts flowing around in some of those parking lots at some of those department stores, grocery stores, restaurants. You could have problems when maybe if you're out in the parking lot at a restaurant here. It's probably not a good time to be getting to your car at this point if you can help it. I mean, I know people on that lunch break, but this is some pretty nasty weather moving through Lake City right now. Could be causing a few power outages even as this comes through town, coming right to the heart of Lake City here in Columbia County. We had that first bulb, and in the second area of wind always become more prominent on the radar algorithm. So backing this up, I know we had another area, but it's kind of what first prompted things. But this other area here now, able to really get us act together that comes right into town here and produces winds that could be severe in nature. This one goes with 7 minutes, and we'll kind of see what happens in the next radar scans here as the situation gets a little bit further along. Moving slower, I think, than that track that we had here on the screen even. I mean, seems like it's taking its time here trying to get to Lake City in Columbia County. So, warning going to 12:45. You see some lightning out there. I know there's even a new warning now further out in the Panhandle. So let's go ahead and see you guys that area. That's not our area at this point, but got a new warning now coming out for Walton and Washington counties at about 12:30 Central Time. So again, you can kind of see how things are hit and miss at times. That one moving only east at 10 miles an hour, so very slow mover. Hopefully, I mean, that's still a few hours from the area if it was moving at that rate continuously, but still a few hours from the area here at this point in time. So again, just continuing to watch things here on the Doppler radar. We're just continue to track things here. I see that the margin of risk area here has kind of been trimmed a little. You see some of these areas off east of Tallahassee, maybe more suppressing going on, hopefully. We hope. That would be some good news. And we talked about how some of the dew points and light some different values here. I know, by the way, I see that there's issues right now, even out towards Chatham County, Tybee Island, moderate risk rip currents there. One rescue was required. The storm right there, but look at this enhanced risk now west of Oklahoma City. We'll watch that. Of course, for those folks, nationally, but right now we have 2 warnings in our area. And that flooding still in Doherty County. I haven't talked about it in a few moments, so let's go back. There's 1 hour rates now. Look at that, right over the airport. And we talked about what they were saying on the measurement site, but this is now in the last hour, about 3 inches falling right near the airport. And it's over town now. I mean, they're starting to get those numbers in town. You gotta wonder, because of all the antecedent rainfall we've had, and we're gonna have